Now. All right, hello everybody. This is our behind the scenes recording of our show for our live show for the 33rd live show from the East Meadow Public Library on Zoom. I'm here with Pronto Comics Dominic Definition Mansperano.
Hello everybody.
We have from D Life with Jenna G, Jenna Lee Seldy.
Hello.
Our senior correspondent Charlie Saladino hopefully will be coming in as he's having technical difficulties. And
well, he is the senior correspondent, so.
That's true. And we have our special guest who we're going to be talking with about when we start our show. That is none other than super awesome guy, former co-host of our show, and awesome inker and writer, Peter Palmiotti.
Hello, hello.
Oh.
There we go. So without any further ado, let us start the show.
The following is brought to you in part by MFC Studios. The views of the show's host and guests do not necessarily reflect those of the management, owners, or staff of this radio station. And now, it came from the radio.
Yapatoy, and welcome once again to It Came From The Radio, the official show of the Big Apple Con. This is your host, Mark Torres, speaking. We are here live on Zoom for our 33rd live show, courtesy of the East Meadow Public Library, and I am here with our whole group. Oh, we have our senior correspondent, Charlie Saladino.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, look at that.
Oh my God.
Hey.
We have Pronto Comics, Dominic Definition Mansperano.
Hello everybody. How are you?
We have D Life with Jenna G, Jenna Lee Seldy.
Hello.
And we have our special guest who we're going to be talking to, with, and about, which is awesome because he's here. We have none other than writer, inker, and a former co-host of our show, Peter Palmiotti.
Hello, hello.
So we're going to be talking to him in just a moment, but first we have to take it away with the news. And do I have it? I have it ready. We're going to take it away with the news.
Dude, you're at your own computer. You don't need an excuse.
Well, the thing is, I have to press like 5 different buttons. So I gotta get it.
The plan comes together.
Get it all ready. I have like my news window up, I have the view window up, I have my file window up, so I'm trying to get everything in all together. But we're ready to go. So the news is brought to you in part by the fine folks of the Big Apple Con, of which we are the official radio show of, celebrating over 25 years of comic book stuff and pop culture-ness. For more information, go to www.bigapplecc.com, and eventually they'll update it when their next convention is going to be once the apocalypse is over.
Is it ever going to be over?
If.
Also, we have to do our shout-outs for our Patreons, of which there are Danny Grillo, award-winning director Jared Burrell, Two Sentence Horror, Kyle Horn, Millie Portes, Newsday famous Dresden Media, Onji-kun, Shadow Rabbit Art, and The Huracan, which is a Huracan in a church, which is a convention in a church.
Have we ever met Unja-kun?
Yeah, I have. He was at the CradleCon, and I believe you met him.
I want him. I really, if I've met him, it's not memorable in my brain that I met him.
Me too.
Like, I want to meet this man.
He's
Me
a very
too.
nice guy.
I'm sure he is. I'm just saying, like, if I met him, it must have been very quickly in passing, and I was like running somewhere else. Like, I want to sit and have a conversation with this guy.
With Unji-kun, yes.
Exactly. And I'm going to call him Unji-kun.
Yes, see,
Not
Never mind
Unja-kun.
meeting him. I want to name a gourmet dish after him.
ooh. Well,
Yeah, Unja-kun sounds like something you get after like negamaki, but before the sushi.
terrible.
I'm
All
just
right.
Or
So,
a racist joke.
Is it?
Or it could be a racist joke, but I'm not going to go there in this time right now.
No. We should be as smart as Jen. She's doing this outside. We're all dumb and inside and in. I'm in my basement. She's a genius. She's out and getting sunshine.
Beautiful.
I can't take
Well,
my
you know,
computer
good for
outside.
yourselves.
Well, Mark, you don't like the outside at all. You're practically a vampire.
That's true. That is true.
I'm at the beach.
Yeah,
You're just a slightly darker skinned Nosferatu.
that's very true. So let's start off with the news. Start off as always with the sad news. So Bonnie Pointer, a founding member of the Grammy-winning group The Pointer Sisters, has died recently. As of this recording, no cause of death has been announced. Her sister, Anita, says, "It is with great sadness that I have to announce to the fans that the Pointer Sisters that my sister Bonnie died this morning. Our family is devastated. On behalf of my siblings and I, the entire Porter family, we also have prayers for you at this time. Bonnie was my best friend, and we talked every day, and we never had a fight in our life. I already miss her, and I will see her again one day." Charlie, you were there when they first started out. Do you have any Pointer Sister stories for us?
Not really, but unfortunately, Bonnie was only 69, and that is very young in this day and age. And I know one of her other sisters passed away. Very sad. They were excellent musicians, good group, and I've unfortunately never met them, but I like their music.
The Pointer Sisters had a long career that crossed genres, encompassing disco, jazz, dance music, R&B, pop, and even country. Although Bonnie left the Pointer Sisters in 1978, she enjoyed a successful solo career with Motown. And as Charlie mentioned, she was a spry 69.
And she's in a better place now. Where? I'm pointing there.
I can't see. I have my news in front of you.
I see you, Jen.
On my screen, you're pointing up
I'm
to me.
pointing. I'm pointing.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
looks like you're pointing at me. Like I do not have Bonnie Pointer anywhere in my house, ladies and gentlemen. I don't. By the way, who's got like someone like screaming in the background?
Is that the TV? That's not my TV.
I'm
On
just,
my TV.
Not me.
it sounds like someone's having a fight in the background. I know it's not me. I don't even have a TV on here.
I think we got it taken care of.
Oh, we got it
Okay.
taken care
We're
of.
good now. We're
Good job.
Like-
Technical difficulties.
Charlie's talking all I hear in the background. I'm like, what's going on?
So maybe it's more about sad news. Moving on.
Great.
Actress and writer Mary Pat Gleason also died recently of cancer. Mary appeared in a slew of movies and TV shows, such as on the feature film front. Here we go. Easy Money, Troop Beverly Hills, Soap Dish, Basic Instinct, Lorenzo's Oil, A Walk in the Cloud, Bruce Almighty, 13 Going on 30, The Island, Because I Said So, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, Drillbit Taylor, Bucky Larson, Born to be a Star, Blended, Ophelia, and Sierra Burgess is a Loser, just to name a few. On the small screen, Mary appeared in such shows as Guiding Light, Full House, Highway to Heaven, Mama's Family, Frank's Place, Murphy Brown, Quantum Leap, Dear John, Night Court, Who's the Boss, Empty Nest, LA Law, Saved by the Bell, Perfect Strangers, On Top of the Heap, Murder, She Wrote, Golden Palace, Getting By, Coach, Friends, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, Sister Sister, Step by Step, ER, Duckman, The Secret Life of Alex Max, Dave's World, NYPD Blue, Suddenly Susan, Family Matters, Will and Grace, Sex and the City, Malcolm in the Middle, Desperate Housewives, NCIS, United States of Tara, Mentalist, Chuck, The New Hawaii Five-0, Bones, Two Broke Girls, 1600 Pen, Mom, Shameless, How to Get Away with Murder, American Housewife, The Blacklist, and WTF 101, just to name a few.
That was
Woo!
not a few. That was a lot.
Based on the entire list, that's just a few.
It's impressive. I like that
I
you
think
did
she
it
died from
chronologically.
exhaustion.
Seriously. That's almost as bad as when you list all the places you can hear the show.
That's only 26.
Only 26.
But yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I don't know her by name, but when I saw a picture of her, I was like, oh, I know who she is. She's that girl.
Oh, wait. What was the name again?
Mary Pat Gleason. So I'm like, oh, it's that girl. It's like one of those, as they call the character actors. I was like, oh,
Right.
her. And if you were a fan of Mom, she was, that was her most
Oh.
recent. See?
Yes.
That girl.
She's been in everything.
See? That's my point.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. No, she's been in a lot of things.
See? That's
Yeah.
exactly what I
You
was
are
going to
correct,
say.
sir.
That girl.
That
So
one.
She was a spry 70, so that's right up there.
When you hear she was in Basic Instinct, it gives you an idea in your mind of what you think she's going to look like, and then you see who she was, and you're like, oh, never mind.
Don't be me.
I'm just saying.
It's terrible. It's terrible. All right. So moving on quickly to some happy-ish news. I guess it's a happy news.
Did anyone die?
Well, no.
Then it's happier than at least the recent news.
That's it for the sad news. But
Okay.
from the now he can go off and enjoy life department. Mad Magazine's longest artist of 65 years, Al Jaffe, at the ripe age of 99, announced his retirement from the magazine. Al's most famous contributions to Mad would be his fold-in back page and his snappy answers to stupid question segments. This comes after Mad Magazine announced their final regular issue coming out in June. For those of you who do not know, the fold-in Mad Magazine was their answer to popular fold-out magazines such as Playboy at the time, and featured a single image and question. And when the page is folded inward, the condensed image reveals a hidden answer that satirizes politics, pop culture, and social trends. You guys are familiar with Mad Magazine, right?
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
they're the original trollers.
I love that fold the image of Mad Magazine.
So
If it wasn't for Mad Magazine, there wouldn't be no National Lampoon and many
Right.
other things like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
OG trollers.
He retired after the magazine, just before the magazine folds. Like, is that really retiring?
well, he's not
Did you
going to do any more
retire
work.
if you lose your job.
He's not doing any more work. That's for sure.
That's true.
At
But, like,
the young age of 99.
I'm just saying, like,
It's probably going out on top, right before they announce it.
yeah,
What a
You
great
can't
time.
fire me, I quit.
yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
He has the dignity to say, I retired. I wasn't let go.
Of note, Al created nearly 500 fold-in pages. And according to the Guinness Book of World Records, he has the world record for longest career as a comic artist. So Peter, how many more years you have to go before you get that far?
When I'm 120.
We're rooting for you.
You can do it.
Yes, you can do it.
Maybe.
When asked about his career, Al says, "I'm living the life I wanted to all along, which was to make people think and laugh. But don't tell the editors at Mad that, because they'll stop paying me."
Nah.
This guy's an inspiration.
So what are you going to do? Like, when you retire at 99, what are you going to do?
That's a very good question. Like, I'm assuming whatever he would have done in retirement, he's done anyway.
I
So-
think bungee jumping.
Become a radio star.
Yeah.
Well, he's had a lot of training. Maybe he can start his own magazine now.
Yeah.
Time to break off and start his own business.
For how many years is that?
He'll do what everyone
Well-
does. He's going to start consulting.
Yeah, there you go.
He's going to consult. On what? Who knows?
Or
How to get to
influencing.
99.
He
You
could be
know,
an Instagram
He
influencer.
could be an Instagrammer. That's true.
Right.
that would be hilarious. All right, moving on. From the follow-up department, which has been very active the past month and a half.
Well, we've had nothing to do.
As mentioned many times over the past few weeks, the comic book industry has been on a roller coaster ride due to the ongoing pandemic. Most of our discussions has been reporting on the extensive ups and downs of Diamond Distributors, which is the biggest pop culture and comic book distributor in the entire United States. So when the pandemic started, Diamond said that they were not going to sell any comics. They were going to stop production of delivering comics. Then they said that they weren't going to pay people that they owed money to. Then they said that they were going to do some type of crazy payback partial funding thing, which made no sense. They were going to pay 15% of what they owed each month, still owing the rest. Then the head of marketing for Diamond quit. Then they decided they were going to come back after all and make comics and distribute comics and the stuff. So now, after all that happened, to top things off, During this time, you may have remembered that DC Comics had taken it upon themselves to jerry-rig their own distribution services while all that was going on. And they announced that they will no longer distribute to Diamond after all. Executives say, we recognize that to many of you, this may seem like a momentous decision. However, we can assure you that this change in DC's distribution plans has not been made lightly and follows a long period of thought and consideration. The change of direction is in line with DC's overall strategic vision intended to improve the health and strengthen the direct sales market, as well as grow the number of fans who read comics worldwide. All orders for DC product will be fulfilled by Lunar Distribution and USC Comic Distributors for periodical releases and Penguin Random House for graphic novels and collected editions. For Diamond, this means that they just lost their second biggest publisher in North America, responsible for 30% of the entire sales in 2019.
Yep.
You didn't sound like Bonnie Pointer's sister. You don't sound like the executives.
I'm with Charlie on that. You know what? Now's a good time for me to reach out to Diamond Comics and start getting them to distribute pronto. They need the business.
That's
a good
actually,
idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, man, you guys need us.
And I think they just, essentially, they shot themselves in the foot. Instead of this whole mess that they did.
Yeah.
But if you work with them, you're going to have to flip-flop around because they like to go back and forth every week. So be prepared. If to fit into the culture, you're also going to have to change your opinions and your MO every week.
You know, I've known a lot of like comic book owners, comic book store owners. They all have complained about Diamond over the years.
Yeah.
Like one guy I know, I don't want to name stores or names. Just
His name is Bob.
His name, Bob. Bob at Comic Books R Us. He was complaining like how they would make him have to prepay for, and like he couldn't even build up credit with them yet because he was a new store. Like they basically were their own monopoly and could demand whatever they wanted. And DC leaving is like the first of the monopoly breakup. It's kind of like Marvel leaving the comics code. Everyone gave them power because we gave them power. They just realized, oh, they really don't have to have any power if we don't want them to.
Well, perhaps this is an analogy for the government and corporations, or maybe it's an opposite analogy. We'll find out by the end of the year.
I think this story will be continuing for more than just 1 year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now's a good time to ask for a discount.
Yeah.
I mean, Pete, you've tried to do a book through Diamond, right?
Well, not me personally, but I worked with people who went through Diamond, and you know, they take a large cut, and they have been the monopoly. I don't know what's going to be 6 months, a year, 3 years down the line, but I think it's a good thing. I think it's time for other distributors to get into the act, and like it shouldn't be, most of your money going to the distributor. You should get a bigger cut if you're an independent publisher. So we'll see if good comes of it.
I mean, every week I'm doing these comic book picks of the week, and at no point ever when I'm giving out a pick do I go to Diamond and get it from there. Every week it's like, well, you can get it on Amazon, you can get it at this website, you can get it at that website. Basically, the future's already kind of been passing Diamond by. I mean, you can get stuff directly from DC and Marvel. A lot of people download their comics. I've talked about Tumblr and reading comics there. Instagram, like Peter's on. There's a million ways now to get comics. It's kind of shocking it took this long for people to abandon Diamond, or that Diamond didn't move with the times.
I remember when I tried to make my own little comic. Remember that, Pete? Remember that? So Diamond said that they were going to take 60% off the cover price right off the bat. And I remember this was in the 90s. So I remember that towards the end of the 90s, Marvel tried to have their own distribution. And that actually started that whole bankruptcy thing that they went through, which in turn wound them up getting bought by Disney. So if they didn't leave and try to make their own direct marketing sales, maybe they wouldn't be owned by Disney now.
No, they would have been owned by Disney. Disney owns everything. They own you, Mark. You just don't know it yet.
Either that or AT&T.
Yeah. I'm waiting for Disney to buy out Time Warner AOL. Once they do that, they've basically had the infinity gauntlet of content.
All right, so let's see. We have we have plenty of time. Plenty of time. We got 7 minutes. So, moving on to the next bit of news. From number 1 to minus $2.2 billion department. Movie theater chain AMC, which is the biggest chain in the entire United States, had just announced a net loss of $2.2 billion due to the coronavirus pandemic, and said that while it does have enough cash to reopen theaters this summer, if it doesn't get some much needed funds, the company may just go under.
Oh, God.
Well, there's so many places, at least on Long Island, that's currently doing drive-in movies. So how they don't empower their theaters, especially ones that have large parking lots and massive sides of buildings, to start doing their own drive-in services. It's something that could bring in some revenue. They, as you've discussed, they don't make money on showing the movies.
Right.
They make money on the concessions.
Yes.
Every single AMC now has not just a concession, but they almost all have restaurants. So if they were to just make a pivot into maybe more drive-through, or at least any sort of venue that could do a drive-through concept, why not? Like a drive-in movie.
So like the old school, like Sonic, basically the Sonic eateries.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best I can think of, unless they somehow get into a streaming thing, but that's going to take months.
Sell beer. They should sell beer.
They do at some of them now.
So what was that, Jennifer?
Sell pot.
Yeah.
That's one way. That's
great.
some
Like if they legalize marijuana in New York, drive-in dispensary and movies.
I came for the marijuana, but I'm going to stay for the movie.
Right,
all they'll show is the Big Lebowski. That's it.
And they said I was going to leave and go home, but then I got high. So then they stayed and watched the movie.
There you go.
And bought more food.
They make money on the concessions, right? So that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, weed and food and movies all in one.
That's a Saturday night at my house.
I think we just came up with a way to save the movie theater industry.
That's my day today. Why not?
Now we need a good name, though. We need a good name.
Weed, food, and movies. To the point.
That's it. Weed, food. I'm going to weed, food, and movies.
There you go.
Exactly.
How about
in that order?
How about trees and flicks?
Marijuana, munchies, and movies. MMM.
There you go. That's a good one.
Hot trees and hot flicks.
Hot flicks, you said?
Trees and flicks.
Trees and flicks. That's trees and flicks.
Oh, I thought you were saying pot flicks, like Netflix, pot flicks, because you have a
Kind of
net.
cinema.
Oh. So speaking of Netflix, from the popular doesn't mean good department. The film, The Last Days of American Crime, which has just been released on Netflix and is trending as one of its top 10 things people are watching, has the honor of getting a 0% score on the Rotten Tomatoes site, joining John Travolta's Gotti and Amber Heard's London Fields as the two most recent films to also have that score.
Distinguished company.
This is weird because people are like, this movie is terrible, but because people are watching it, that's why it's so popular, because it's terrible.
Like Tiger King.
Or The Room.
Tiger King. There you go. This is a horrible, horrible situation. I can't stop watching. It's a train wreck.
I love it.
Let's see. The aforementioned film is a comic book adaptation and focuses on a world set the hours before U.S. government broadcasts a signal, making it impossible for anyone knowingly to commit unlawful acts. Edgar Ramirez plays a career criminal who aims to pull off the heist of the century just before that happens. So it sounds interesting.
Well,
It was a good graphic novel.
Does Rotten Tomatoes really reflect the public opinion? Because the public opinion often is very, very different than Rotten Tomatoes site.
Actually, if you're going to go with anyone's review, Rotten Tomatoes is usually the best.
Really?
They're usually the most accurate of no, this is terrible.
Interesting. Public opinion.
But as we always say, to each one his own.
I know, you have a horrible taste in film.
to you.
to the general public.
Which is still not me.
Exactly.
So moving on. I think
your taste in film is so bad. Charlie just is like doing the face palm over here. I think Charlie forgets we can watch him. We can see he's just like, oh.
But to be fair, senior correspondent Charlie Saladino, we have seen eye to eye on many a movie.
Yes, we have.
Like Skyline.
Many a movie have we seen together, and I've turned to you and said we should not be watching this movie.
Yeah.
And as we always say from time to time, there have been movies we've seen and fell in and didn't miss anything.
Exactly. So moving on, I think we can squeeze this one in. Let's see, what's the more important one? I think we'll go with the easy ire. Last bit of news from the "I'm offended, let's fire him" department.
Well, you're gonna have to be more specific than that. That's pretty much the world today.
Due to offensive tweets from 2012 and 2014, actor Hartley Sawyer has been fired from his role of Elongated Man on the series The Flash.
Right.
Executives say Hartley Sawyer will not be returning for season 7 of The Flash. In regards to Mr. Sawyer's posts on social media, we do not tolerate derogatory remarks that target any race, ethnicity, national origin, gender, or sexual orientation. Such remarks are antithetical and to our values and policies, which strive and evolve to promote a safe, inclusive, and protective environment for our workforce.
We'll hire back James Gunn.
Yeah, he's not that big on the ladder.
Yeah.
Because James Gunn makes money.
Yep.
I've said for years, there's only one true sin: costing people money. You can get away with anything if you're making them money. The moment that you stop making people money, that's when all of a sudden you're going to get fired.
So, I mean,
people will overlook anything.
He was a supporting character on the show. I watched the show, and he was there. He contributed, but
that's what supporting characters do.
He's not like the main lead.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, they just upped and fired him for stuff 6 years ago.
Well, maybe he can go and be part of Slender Man because he didn't work out as Elongated Man.
A friend of mine said to me recently, or sent me a tweet where it said, Twitter has cost more careers than drugs and alcohol ever did.
Wow.
That's the truth. If you're on Twitter and under your own name, your own persona, you have to assume that you're under arrest 24/7. Anything you say can and will be held against you in the court of public opinion now.
For many years prior.
For many years to come.
Yep.
For many years to come.
I'm screwed.
I'm on Facebook. I don't say anything about myself ever. I just share memes. That's it.
I just go with the jokey jokes.
Yeah. I don't state an opinion about anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, I guess I work the opposite. I try to see how far I can push it and be like, really? You still want to be friends with me? I just posted a picture of me as blackface Santa voting for Biden. And I didn't lose any friends or followers. I was interesting.
You're going to get our show kicked off of the 26 media outlets.
Well, the way this works, Mark, is that you fire her and then you put out a statement saying about inclusivity and all that other stuff. So.
Well, I was trying to be inclusive. That's why I was trying to show myself as a tan Santa that's voting for Biden.
Good luck with that.
Hartley says,
"I'm going to get Kelly to come by your house with a march soon."
Hartley says, "I'm not here to make excuses. Regardless of the intention, my words matter and they carry consequences. And mine can and have caused pain and embarrassment, along with feelings that I can only imagine to supporters and fans, my castmates and crews, my colleagues and friends. I owe them all an apology and owe each of you an apology. Thank you for holding me accountable. I want to be very clear. This is not reflective of what I think of who I am now. Years ago, thanks to..." Yes, Charlie?
Nobody cares.
I like that he has to say thank you for firing me.
For some reason, these actors think that we care what they think. You're an actor. Act. Shut up and act.
Right? He's right, yeah. But again, I love that he had to thank the public for getting him fired. Thank you for firing me. It's a great... you can't just come out and say, you're all idiots, let it go.
Yeah.
All right, so quickly, Charlie, since you brought it up, do you think he should have been fired then for that?
You know what? I think if you're going to, there's a lot of things people could say that really don't cause any harm. It's just their opinion. But if you're inciting something, what was the facts? What was he saying?
So the ones that my research picked up on, there was two of them. One was that he was at he posted that he was at an audition and he got to see some awesome side boob. And the other one,
that's great.
And the other one, he posted that he doesn't make racist jokes because he doesn't want Al Sharpton to never stop talking about him.
Oh, well.
The first one, the side
no,
of the boob one is
that's your
nothing.
death sentence. You mention Al Sharpton, forget it.
That's true. Yeah, you don't mention Al Sharpton ever. Kind of like the Candyman.
Yeah.
Don't want to say the Candyman 3 times in the mirror. Don't mention Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
I think Mad Magazine should hire him.
There you go. You can take over Al Chappie's job.
Yeah, you don't say the 7 curse words in Al Sharpton.
Yeah,
I like this guy more. I want to hire him more now. It's great.
Yeah. I think to go along with what Charlie said, I think it has to do with intent, and I don't think that his intent was malicious.
No.
So I don't think he should have gotten fired.
No one understands sarcasm anymore. No, you can't be sarcastic in any way, shape, or form because
you can't be sarcastic anymore.
Nope. I detect this hint of sarcasm there.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, but no, you can't. You can't be sarcastic. And my girlfriend was just reading me something today that someone put on Instagram, like silence is violence. You can't remain silent. It's like I don't want to say anything. Well, you're now at the side of the racist. Like, no, I'm not saying anything. Like, you can't. You are now presumed guilty if you're silent.
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't win right now.
No, you can't. It's an unwinnable game. So if you're like, well, the only way I'm going to win this game is to not play at all. Well, no, you have to play the game.
Yep.
So with that, because we have to play the game, we have to take our break. Yes.
The end of the Dark Knight Rises. It's like, all right, your choice is death or exile. All right, we choose death. Fine, death by exile. It's the same thing.
Okay, so we're going to take our break. We'll be right back with It Came From the Radio.
Hey everybody, this is Todd McFarlane of the record-setting Spawn comic series. And if you're looking for any kind of cool conversation about creators, about entertainment, about all that good stuff, you go to It Came From the Radio. You're listening to the right spot.
Hi, you've heard my voice open and close the show. Now we want to hear your voice. If you have a business or product, you can record a commercial here. We offer 30 and 60-second spots. For more information, contact Mark at mfc_studios@hotmail.com.
This is Quentin Flynn, a popular voice actor known for Axel, Tamon, and Raiden from the Metal Gear series. And you're listening to It Came From the Radio. Stick around.
Hey guys, this is Christy from Custom Cakes by Christy. I want you to know that I'm here for you. I'm keeping my private kitchen open for any needs your family may have. I've been focusing on breads, soups, muffins, quiches, and other basics, but I'm still accepting dessert orders as well. Please follow my Facebook for immediate pickup items, private message me for custom orders. Custom Cakes by Christy, INC, KRISTY. Text me at 631-606-8166.
I'm Mike Kingston, the writer and creator of Headlocks. And I am WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. And guess what you're listening to? You're listening to It Came From the Radio.
The Comic Book Depot has been in business since 1993. Your one-stop comic book shop for comics, gaming, and collectibles. The Comic Book Depot club membership is $15 and gets you 15% off new comics, back issues, graphic novels, and 10% off comic book supply. Located at 2847 Jerusalem Avenue in Wantagh, New York. Contact us on Facebook for curbside pickup because new comics are back. For more information, give Alan a call at 516-221-9337. The Comic Book Depot.
Hi, this is Amy Jo Johnson, writer-director from the film The Space Between, and you're listening to It Came From the Radio.
Cosmic Comics and Games of Baldwin is the place to go for your comics and gaming needs. We are now doing home delivery in Nassau County because new comics are back. So if you want the latest comics, back issues, comic book supplies, or magic cards, please call Chuck at 516-763-1133 for details. You can also contact us through our Facebook page. That's Cosmic Comics and Games, 516-763-1133. Thank you and stay safe.
Grimlock having fun on It Came From the Radio. Greg Berger also.
Now, back to our show.
And welcome back to It Came From the Radio, the official show of the Big Apple Con. This is your host, Mark Torres, speaking. We are here courtesy of the East Meadow Public Library for our 33rd live show via Zoom online. Also want to mention that the MCon, which is the anime fest from the East Meadow Public Library, ran by Kelly Gordon, is going to have this Saturday. So people who are watching this on our YouTube page now, or on the Zoom, or on the Facebook page, can go for this Saturday, which is the 13th, if I'm not mistaken, and for a special Q&A with actress from who plays Cypher on the Castlevania series. So make sure you guys go check out that. Check out the Facebook page of the MCon Anime Fest for more information. I am here with Peter Palmiotti, Dominic Definition Man Sperano.
Hola.
Charlie Cialdino.
Hey.
And Jen Eliseldi.
Hello.
All right, so as we mentioned, we're going to be talking to with and about our good friend Peter Palmiotti. So Peter,
yes,
how is it being back on the show? Has anything changed since the last time you were here?
Except me and you are the same. Everybody else is different. But it's got the same flavor. I will give it that.
What flavor is that?
Desperation.
Oh man. Garlic? Garlic flavor.
Garlic flavor.
Garlic.
Bitter and salty.
Yes.
So I met Peter. How long has it been when I met you? 20 years? 30 years?
Was it in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
20 to 30 years then, yes.
Yeah.
And you were a super famous inker back then, and you're even more famous and super more now.
Am I really?
So why don't you tell people what you're most famous for?
Well, that tweet that they took down? No.
You have to be more specific than that.
Oh, okay. I'm mostly known for my work on Aquaman, inking over Jim Calfury during Peter David's run, when Aquaman had a hook.
Yes.
Yeah. So
before the water hand.
Yeah, before the water hand. But during the stupid red-blue Superman era.
I was just thinking about that. Like, what was the idea behind that? Like, let's take this iconic character and just mess with it terribly. We tried killing him. That didn't work. Let's do this instead.
Yeah, I mean, they were experimenting a lot with their different characters, and that was one that was a super fail. You know, like Superman is probably my favorite DC character. Even though everybody is like Batman, and yeah, I like Batman definitely, but Superman was a favorite. So while I was inking Aquaman, Superman showed up in the book. I was told he was showing up in the book. Then I found out it was a stupid blue Superman. I was like, oh man, what a drag. But
stupid blue Superman.
But yeah, I mean, you know, like to give you a quick rundown, you know, I've been working in comics since 1991, mostly as an inker. I've worked for Marvel, DC, had a few books published through Image, worked at Valiant for less than a year as a background inker back in the day. And mostly I have inked a lot of independent books that you probably never heard of. I inked some stuff on Razor. What are my highlights? I don't even know. I forget. I used to have a full collection of everything I worked on, but I left that behind in New York when I left New York. I'm originally from New York. I'm living in Kentucky now.
Good for you for getting out.
Yeah.
Is it everything I thought it could be?
It's nice out here. There's the little redneck vibe here and there, but
it is people. Kentucky.
Yeah.
I bet the bourbon's good.
The bourbon's good. It's I was originally in Bardstown, is Maker's Mark, is where they make that. Now I'm in a small town, Campbellsville, which nobody.
Do you watch like Justified and go like, yes, that's exactly?
Yeah, I mean, I was so into that show because I moved here when that was on, like first on, and I was like just laughing watching that. But yeah, so like right now it's like I'm doing a bunch of stuff. I'm inking this, I don't know, this book. What's it called? Chosen Few. I think it was a new writer worked on it.
Yeah, some guys working on that book. 30 years.
I put ink on the page. I get paid. Yeah.
So we're finally gonna get this project together and out there.
So just for people, the image that is you right now is actually one of the pages of my book.
That is correct.
That's beautifully done. Very nicely done.
It's some nice, sweet inking.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, really well done. How long have you been doing art for? How did you learn?
Well, I consider myself self-taught, even though I did go to art school. I went to the High School of Art and Design in Manhattan. Took up cartooning and animation there, and I did 2 years of a 4-year college, Brooklyn Technical College, and took up advertising art there. But really, like, when I started in comics, it was to become an inker. And I didn't think I was really that great at the time. It was just, I had a real ambition for it once I decided to make that leap. Because I had a day job before that. And I was like too precious to do art and make money from it for years.
You like slid right under the wire of time, because like by the time I came up and I wanted to be an inker, I got advice from comic book professionals, and they're like, don't, just get into something else, become a writer, become an editor. But
I thought you were going to say become a plumber.
I wish I became a plumber, especially my house, man. You know how many pinhole leaks I got going on around here?
You want to do comics? No, don't do that. Become a brain surgeon.
Yeah,
you'd be better off.
Pick a trade that pays, But like, you got in when there still was an importance of having an inker. Like, by the time I wanted to be an inker, they're like, good luck,
Yeah,
the drummer's been replaced by a drum machine. We don't need you anymore.
I mean, if I was a sane person, I would have left the industry years ago, because so much has changed in my time, and I still clung to wanting to be an anchor, but it just doesn't pay anymore.
No. I mean, even top rates are what, $80 a page, $90?
It's stupid. Yeah, it's like, I mean, there are people that get good rates. But I haven't gotten a decent rate in a while, and it seems like every time I do get a good rate, the project falls apart.
Exactly.
So,
it's bad. It's hard. Like, I always wanted to be an inker because I just never had the brain to do sequential drawing. I can draw.
Right.
But the idea of like trying to really think frame by frame of action sequences and putting it together, I never had it. But I always loved inking my own drawings, and I loved taking something, as I was told, like that looks kind of chaotic with all the pencils, and bringing order to it with ink. I always loved that process. But it's just unfortunate that it's no longer really necessary. I know of guys that they'll ink with their mouse on. It's like,
wow.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it's like some of them are good at it, but to me, I'm still traditional. Even though I did pick up a tablet, I still haven't really played with it. You know, like a digital tablet to you know, I picked it up for more for coloring
Right.
than for digital inking.
Yeah.
Although I might dabble. You know, if somebody wants to throw me like 200 a page to digitally ink their work, I'll do it. You know,
Right. I
But-
don't know about you, but it sounds like it's similar to me. I am addicted to the feel of the pressure of a pen onto
Yeah.
actual paper.
yeah,
There's nothing they can do that makes a stylus feel like that on a either like on a tablet or a drawing tablet. It's just not the same. I don't get the same sense of biofeedback. The
Mhm.
idea of drawing and inking on a tablet, I don't know how people do it. God, I love the work they produce. I think it looks great, but I need that feel. I'm assuming you do too.
yeah. I mean, I freaking love inking, and wish, you know, like things haven't changed. But you know, I've been pushing myself slowly, like turning a school bus in the direction of doing my own creations and my own books, because I love inking so much.
Mm.
I'm going to be hiring people to do my other books, to pencil them, and then I'll be inking all the books. So I'll still get to do inking, but I'm also, you know, creating and writing and
That's
you know,
that's what you got to
self-publishing.
do now.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, like that's very smart. Everyone I've ever talked to when I was starting into comics, and even now, they're like, you got to make your own material. You're never, you know, the chances of you being able to work on Spider-Man or Batman are very nil. Make your own thing. Build your own audience.
yeah, yeah. So let's see. I think I got it. What's this? Well, this is it's a work in progress on the first issue. This is a book called Retro, which is my own creation. This was penciled by a friend of mine, Rich Fuchsia, and I'm inking it, but he's turned to painting, so I'm going to become the artist on the book with issue 2. And you know, it's like I've been doodling since I've been on the show, but you know, it's like I'm a decent penciler, but I have you know, I know I have a lot to learn. But it's comics. It's not, you know, rocket science.
You've just offended all of the comic book guys, and now they want to fire you off of the internet.
Sorry, Mad Magazine. No,
Inkers' lives matter.
Oh man.
Oh God.
I'm kidding.
Mhm.
All right, we'll check.
Views of the show's
jobs
hosts and the views of the show's hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect those.
Well, you know, you gotta have a good spirit about comics. You know, I freaking love comics. I grew up on comics, and you know, with my brother. You know, he's the lesser known Palmiotti.
Who? I don't know who that is.
Johnny? What's his name?
You have a brother?
It begins with a J.
Josephine? I don't know.
Josephine. Some guy somewhere.
Some guy who has
Florida.
cursed on our show. That's how I remember him by.
Has he?
I didn't want to throw him out there, but the guy who gave me the advice about not going into being inking was your brother.
Well, trust me, I heard that plenty from my brothers.
I'm sure. Like, I was like, don't mention his name. Like, just keep, you know, it's about Peter. I'm like, don't do it. But you brought him up. I'm like, yeah, he's the guy who looked at me at New York Comic Con. I was like, don't go to inking. Get out. Don't do something else. Do something else in comics.
Well, you know, from him, I always heard, don't do comics, you know. And yet, you know, he had a hand in getting me in there. So
right.
Whatever.
It's like he's smoking a joint and telling you not to do drugs.
Yeah.
It's like, but you make it look so good.
Exactly.
Charlie, you've been quiet. You have a question for Peter? Charlie, are you alive?
He's reading
Yes,
something.
I am alive.
Do we lose?
The only question I have for Peter is, has he ever had the honor of serving on the as co-host with Herman Shemp's Inertia.
Who's that?
Then
This was
that
a live
would
radio
be no.
broadcast.
That
Charlie,
would
if
be
this was-
no.
Yeah, if this was a live radio broadcast going out amongst the airwaves, I could hear the dial turn after that question.
He actually was with Hassan Godwin for a while.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But he didn't have the pleasure of working with Herman, huh?
No, he did not.
Charlie, I've been on this show for almost 4 years now. I only worked with Herman once, so come on.
And it was traumatic, wasn't it?
It was traumatic. It was very traumatic, yes.
Yes.
It was back in the day. It was me, Mark, Hassan. Was it Todd?
Yeah, Todd Wright. Shout out to Todd Wright.
Belkis.
Oh yeah, I forgot about her.
And Jennifer.
Ah, yes, other Jennifer.
Yeah, other Jennifer.
As a matter of fact, the new Jen is not truly on the show until she gets to do a show with Herman.
Okay.
I think that's like the last of the Jedi trials.
Well, let's bring him in.
He's an enigma.
So new Jennifer, do you have another question for Peter?
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what kind of themes that you'd like to make comics about now. Is there anything that this time in 2020 has inspired you to create about? Are you inspired to talk about lockdowns or racism or Ink Lives Matter?
Well, it's like a lot of what I want to do is superhero related, so nothing too heavy, nothing too realistic, just goofy fun. Like I'm inspired by comics I read, growing up.
So perhaps the superheroes raised money to get the people out of jail that were jailed for protesting, like something like that, maybe.
I'm not too political.
I'm just kidding.
I know. I have a lot of one shots in mind. There's something I want to do that's more like kid friendly.
Okay.
There's something else I want to do that's
Biden then. Put Biden.
Cyberpunk. I have different things I want to do. I'll probably do a bunch of one shots and stuff like that.
What about Trump cyberpunk? That'd be fun. Cyberpunk Trump, yeah. A lot of hand motions, a lot of well.
I'll do a comic called Space Force. No.
Yeah.
Very similar Jennifers, don't you think, Peter?
Yes.
Like I'm just staying very quiet right now.
She's asking the hard questions.
That's right.
That's why we have her. It comes at you hard. You don't know where it's coming from.
Hey, Pete.
Yes.
How inspirational is living in Kentucky to your craft?
Good question.
I lived most of my life in New York. I'm originally from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Brooklyn represent.
Where in Brooklyn?
Flatbush Avenue J.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
South Williamsburg, Bedford-Stuyvesant.
There you go.
Yeah, my mother was from Park Slope.
Whoa, hey, neighbor. There you go.
So living out here, it's not. I'm in a small town, and it seems like a spread out version of Brooklyn-ish. But I'm, it's not too far from the country, and I go out to the country. It's like I'm currently living in like a small apartment, and I have 5 cats. So there's a cat sanctuary outside of town is where I'm keeping them currently, because I was insane enough to have them all here, but I can't get any work done with them all over me. So, but we're, me and my ex are good friends with the sanctuary, and we go there all the time, and I see them all the time. Just until I rent a house or something.
When did you move down there?
Well, I moved in 2006 to Bardstown. I lived there for a while. I lived in Louisville for a while.
Oh, so you've been bouncing around the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
Virginia briefly. I went back to New York briefly. Then I settled here because
You could afford it more?
Well, I mean, literally, this is probably the cheapest place in the world, in the U.S. at least. And yeah, being a comic book artist, it's like that comes in handy.
Yeah. No. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right. So it's
work for someplace in New York. Don't actually be in New York.
Yeah.
We got to do social media time. So, Pete, how can people get a hold of you, hire you, all that fun stuff? Where can they find you and not be offended?
Well, you can find me at home. No, Facebook.
Do not go to his home.
Dude, 5 cats. I will be like sneezing within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Various other places, but I'm on there as Peter Palmiotti, so I'm really easy to find. I'm streaming live on YouTube every day now. I'm committing to that and working on my comic and creation retro. So
Nice.
come check me out and chat with me.
All right.
All right. So now it's time for our final thoughts because we're almost out of time for the show. So let's see. We'll go with Charlie. Charlie, you have a final thought for us?
I'm just I'm thrilled to have Peter on the show. Thanks for coming down on the show or being with us on Zoom, and you know, thrilled to have a fellow alumni from It Came From the Radio. So thank you, Pete. A lot of success to you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Dominic, final thought.
I love Kevin Smith, but I'll never forgive him for chasing Amy and calling inkers tracers. Peter knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I remember telling my friends I'm going to be an inker, and he just flat out looked at me like, "You mean tracer?" I'm like, "I'm going to kill you. I'm just going to kill you."
Your mother's a tracer.
Exactly.
Jen, do you have a final thought?
Sure. If someone gives you a water pick or a toothbrush, use it because it's probably a hint.
There you go.
Hypothetical.
Peter, do you have a final thought?
Final thought. I have a feeling that we'll survive this current apocalypse. So it's always good to be kind to people and do that.
I like current apocalypse because we've had several come and go.
That's right. That's right.
So my final thought is this. As I mentioned, I've known Peter for 100 years. I've worked with Peter for 100 years.
You look great for your age, Mark.
We're still working together 100 years later. You're an awesome guy, a very talented person. You should be the #1 Marvel to-go-to guy, as your work has shown. And I've always said that, and I want to mention that we were so close to having that book for working for Marvel. I'll never forget that for as long as I live. We were that close.
Yeah.
But you deserve as much notoriety and work as you could possibly get because you deserve it.
Higher pay, man. Higher pay.
Yes. All right. So forget the work. Just pay him more for the work that he's doing.
Inkers' jobs matter.
That's right.
Hashtag.
So that about does it. So that about does it for this week on It Came From the Radio. Join us right here and every week on this radio station. If you missed any part of this show, go to our website, www.itcamefromtheradio.com. Listen to archives will be up in a week or so. I want to do a special shout out to Kelly Gordon and the East Meadow Public Library for our live show. Our next live show is going to be on July 8th with filmmaker, artist, and comic book writer Jared Burrell. And I also want to mention once again that on this Saturday, the 13th, the MCon, which is also part of the East Meadow Public Library, is going to have their special kind of Castlevania Q&A program, of which I am going to be the host of. So if you go to eastmeadow.info, register, and you guys can sign up and have your questions ready. All right, so we will see you next time.
Take it ace.
You've been listening to It Came From the Radio with Mark Torres. The views of the show's hosts and guests did not necessarily reflect that of the management, owners, or staff of the station. We now return you to your earthly scheduled broadcast.